Now, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings. So this is a huge game for the Green Bay Packers. And you know how I told you that the Bears are 0 in EPA, right? They're right in the middle of the pack of the NFL. They are slightly above. Get this, folks. The Bears are slightly above an EPA of the Green Bay Packers, who are 0.001. So the Packers are just barely above 0, as in not creating enough negative plays. The Packers are so much better in yards per game, so much better in sacks, so much better in rush defense, so much better in pass defense, but no turnovers. And we don't have a ton of sacks, right? So it just goes to show, like we were talking about last week, Dave, that a lot of the Packers' defensive stats are because of lack of opportunity, as in they're not playing as many series as other teams are. So their yardage is low. But if you actually look at per play, if you would have told me right now that the Bears and the Packers had the exact pretty much same EPA, I'd be like, what the hell? Because the Bears defense looks crazy terrible until they get a turnover.
They do.
Right? And then they get a turnover. And the Packers defense, it's like, yeah, they look good. But then the team just keeps driving down the field and they don't get that turnover. And I'm telling you, those make such a big difference in the outcome of games. And those 5 turnovers we didn't get last week made the huge difference to where the Giants basically controlled the clock and stopped the Packers from doing what they were doing. So, okay.
Yeah, they had the shot with 2 minutes left in the game. It should have been a laugher long before then.
Oh, absolutely. If Bullard gets that pick, so after the Packers go up, and if Bullard actually holds on to that pick and McKinney doesn't knock it out of his hands, we'll get the ball at like the 24. Like I can pretty much guarantee we score there. We go up by 2 scores and it's a different game. But hey, you got to make those plays. You can't knock the guy out of your own ball, your own guy's hands, McKinney. So here's something else that could actually play out in this game, Dave. So let me show you this. So let me.
Aaron Rodgers is going to finish his career as a Viking, sign a 1-day contract.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. I mean, he's taking an extra stop before he does the Brett Favre trajectory. So, okay, let me put this on the stage. So check this out. This is the craziest thing I've seen. Dyer Carragher shared it. We got this from our buddy Greg. So this is the most unbelievable stat I've unearthed all year. 45 players in the NFL have returned 3 or more punts this season. In yards per attempt, the bottom 3 are Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden, and Keyshawn Mason. And I said on my Packers reaction video, Dave, when I was talking about the special teams, I feel like we have more negative yards from holds combined on those punt returns than we have positive yards when they've actually returned the ball. And it turns out I'm right. That's how terrible our punt return team is. So literally defense, special teams, don't put a guy back there. Just have an extra guy playing safety in case they fake it, and just let the ball go, because we're going to start at the same yard line regardless whether we pick it up or not. That's how bad our punt return team has been. And I'm really, really disappointed in the Packers for not getting a punt returner in the offseason. We actually talked about it. They signed Mecole Hardman, right? Mm-hmm. And they put him on the practice squad and they eventually cut him. But with all the injuries and everything that's going on, we could use Mecole Hardman right now, and we could absolutely use him as a punt returner. So this offseason, when Romeo Doubs is probably let go, right? When Luke Musgrave is let go, and when a couple other guys are let go, we've got like 8 free agents that could be signed. And my guess is we are only going to sign probably 3 of those guys, maybe even only 2 of those guys. I really want the Packers to spend, because it doesn't cost a lot of money. Go and spend a little bit of money on a 5th or 6th wide receiver that is a punt and kick return specialist, please. Please, 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 because it does make a big difference in the game. Look at the Bears game, Dave.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say Duvernay.
Duvernay's great, right? And he won that ball game for you, because if he doesn't return that far, I doubt you have enough time to go and win the game, because there was 37 seconds and you had no timeouts left, right? At that point.
Yeah, they scored with 50 seconds to go. So it would have been about 35 seconds by the time the offense.
I think it was like 38 after the clock or whatever. It was like maybe 40, but either way, you guys had no timeouts, which that doesn't say you couldn't have done it. But basically he returned the ball. You guys ran 2 plays, got 9 yards, and kicked the easiest field goal to win a game that you possibly could. So yeah, special teams matter. Matt LaFleur. Like, let's take care of our special teams. Please, please, please. All right. Now, there's something else I want to talk about because, and I keep forgetting which one we're on. Yuck. Not that one. Okay. So I've been talking about EPA per play because I'm about it. I like going into the deeper stats. So right now, in EPA per play on offense, Dave's Indianapolis Colts are number 1 at plus 0.18. The Buffalo Bills are number 2 at plus 0.15. And the Chiefs are 3 at plus 0.14, tied with the Packers, who are 4th overall in offense in EPA per play. And again, it's because the offense isn't getting a lot of opportunities. Jordan Love is having to drive the field almost every time because we don't get turnovers and we have the worst punt return team in the league. That basically Jordan Love gets 6 or 7 chances per game, and he's got to go 85 yards almost every single time per game to get a touchdown. And he has to play almost perfect. It's just not a sustainable game plan. So here's the question, Dave. The Vikings have a good defense. The Vikings actually have a pretty awful offense. So you got the Packers' awful defense versus the Vikings' awful offense. The Packers' very good offense in EPA per play versus the Vikings' good but not great. They're actually 12th in EPA on defense, the Vikings are, but still good defense. Who do you think wins out, and which team do you think actually dominates the pace of play in this game? Do you think the Packers can actually stop JJ McCarthy from not being terrible?
My game plan for JJ McCarthy is I would drop 11 back in coverage and I would just let him throw.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let him scramble. I would just, okay, go ahead, throw, because he his accuracy is terrible. It's something
so
that,
bad down the field, man.
They got to work on it in the offseason. It's not anything that they can easily fix within the next month. So yeah, I just say make sure that your D line, everyone has the discipline so they stay, so he doesn't get any chance to do any scrambles.
Yes.
And just don't blitz anyone. I know that you're complaining about them not getting pressure previously. You want to see a more dynamic, but here's one case where I'm like, all right, we'll just drop 8. We'll just drop 7 back every time. And I think that's gonna. I see them going 3 and out quite a bit.
I do, in a sense where I want to see what the Vikings run game does, because the Vikings offensive line is finally a little bit healthy. They're not great, but they're healthier. And they've got Madison, they've got Jones, who probably wants to have a big
Aaron
game.
Jones.
Yeah, so like if they keep running up that B gap like the Giants were doing all week last week, I want to see the Packers actually change, because I agree with you in the sense that with McCarthy, you don't want to blitz him, because he's athletic enough where if he gets out, like he's going to cause trouble, right? So just keep him contained, let him beat you with his arm. But at the same time, I asked myself, are the Packers going to be able to stop the Vikings from getting in 3rd and 2 consistently, to where then they have the run or the play action option where McCarthy can roll out and he can either throw or use his legs, and he's only throwing 6 or 7 yards down the field, not 15 to 20 where he struggles, right? We have to get him in positions to where he's making long throws. And that's been our biggest issue all year, is letting teams get 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3 consistently and not being able to stop them. So I got to see the Packers actually get some negative plays or actually get him in 3rd and long before, I'll agree with you on the 3 and out thing. But this
you got to consider that.
Go ahead.
Hawkinson used to be a dynamic tight end, right? He used to matter, right? Last year, he's coming off of his ACL injury, and last year he still had good stats. They weren't great. It was kind of a step off.
Yeah.
This year, he has, let's see, his offense for the regular season, he has 280 yards, averages 8 yards, 2 touchdowns, as long as it's 21. So he's not getting the ball. And so if you want to try to have a young quarterback in there, you need to have them rely on their tight end. Hawkinson, I don't know what happened. He was much more efficient last year.
Right.
But yeah, he just kind of fell off of a cliff. And if you have accuracy issues, if you have to try to throw to the outside.
Right. But where does Hawkinson live? Hawkinson lives from 12 to 17. That's where he's his best, right? Like not short. He's not a short yardage tight end. He's like kind of a thin, like he's another Iowa guy, right? But he's like a thinner guy. So he's more like a 12 to 15 yard, like over the middle or an out kind of guy, and that's where JJ struggles versus Sam Darnold last year, who maybe didn't use Hawkinson as much, but like Sam Darnold is very accurate, like from 15 to 35 yards. Like you can see what he throws to JSN this year, where like those 30-yard throws, just he throws them on a dime sometimes, right? JJ can't do that. So Hawkinson's been kind of useless because they don't really use him other than, every now and then in those 4 to 6 or 7 intermediate passing zones, because that's not really his skill set. His skill set is like his speed and his athleticism in like the 12 to 17 area, I would say, at least from what I've seen from Hawkinson on the Vikings, when he's been most successful. So hopefully the Packers can bottle him up. But I would actually like to see the Packers spy JJ McCarthy and again, make him throw, not let him run and use his legs, like have a spy on him, whether that's like a cornerback or the middle linebacker. I don't know. But my main concern is actually the Packers stopping them from getting a bunch of 3rd and short conversions, because if we can let Jameis Winston and the backup Giants convert a bunch of 3rd and 4th downs, as bad as McCarthy is, a lot of teams can convert 3rd and 2s, right? Or 3rd and 3s. So, that's my main concern. But Jordan Love is in Toyota-thon mode. So, Dave, Jordan Love had the highest PFF grade for a quarterback all year last week. Can you believe that? And like, he had a 93.1. And like I said before, like he only had one throw that wasn't perfect, basically in this windy day in New York, right? And so they gave him a crazy high grade, which I was surprised about, but it was accurate. So does Toyota-thon Jordan Love come out? Yes, he does. Jordan Love is going to wreck the Vikings defense. It's going to be an ugly game. I think, dude, I hate to say this, Dave, but I think JJ McCarthy is going to have his best game of the season against us. I just know he is. Because we're not going to adjust. We're going to play vanilla. Like you said, it's going to stop them from scoring a bunch of points, but it allows your offense to be extremely efficient and just take chunk after chunk after chunk. And I think JJ will get in a rhythm at some point, and he'll get some decent yards, he'll get some decent plays. But I think the Packers offense is good enough in this game at home with Jordan Love on a heater to win 27, because they only score 27 when they win, to win 27 to 23. I'm going to say 23. I'm going to say a weird number, but 27-23 is my prediction for this game. So I am picking the Packers in this one. How do you think it's going to turn out, Dave?
I like the 27, but I'd just say 13.
No.
I don't see him drive. Green Bay has to turn the ball over in order for the Vikings to score 4 times.
I agree.
So that's when you say 23, that's saying that the Vikings have 5 scoring drives. Jordan really doesn't throw too many picks. There's not going to be too many chances of fumbles. It's a great defense.
True, but you're used to watching the Bears, Dave. You guys stopped them from scoring once on a pick that JJ threw when they should have had points, right? And then he turned it over again later in the game. So that my thing is since we don't create turnovers, I could see them getting 5 scoring drives, as in like 3 field goals and 2 touchdowns, right? I could definitely see that. That's what I'm saying, 23. So I could definitely see them getting 5 scoring drives because we don't cause any turnovers. So JJ is going to have opportunities to move the ball down the field without turning it over, which he loves to do.
I think him on the field is just going to look like a giant bowel on the field. It's just a bunch of doo-doo. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to sustain that many drives. That's why, I just don't think he's – you got the big playmakers, but with his accuracy, I don't really see Jefferson or Addison. I think I think he's a hell of a handcuff to them. I'm not really worried about them making explosive plays. Maybe they get one fluke. But I'm not overly concerned about them even scoring 17. I just think JJ, the quarterback, is just he's not there yet. Got to give him a year,
at least a year, because he's not doing. And again, his accuracy down the field has always been my major concern. And Justin Jefferson is basically useless at this point. He's getting like 5 catches for like 60 yards a game. Like he's like the big plays that JJ is making is all to Addison for the most part. Like he has a decent connection with Addison. And he's actually even had some to their rookie they drafted out of Maryland. Yeah, he's had a couple to Naylor, but he has not connected with JJ on like really any big plays. So
JJ's too fast. He's not used to having fast wide receivers at Michigan,
I guess. But like, I don't know. I feel like Naylor's really fast, right? And Addison's really fast.
That's
but
true.
He's just, him and JJ aren't on the same page. It's just really, really weird, man. So this would probably be the week for them to figure it out, though.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
But it's definitely going to be an ugly game. I could even see the Vikings being up at some point, like 20 to like 14 in like the end of the third quarter, and the Packers come back and, figure it out at the end. It's definitely not going to be an easy win, but all I know is, the Vikings defense is still good. It's not great this year, but it's still good. But the Vikings offense is not good. And we'll get a good view of what the Packers, how bad the Packers defense actually is this week, because the Vikings offense is bottom 3 in the NFL. It's one of the worst in the NFL right now. And if they go on sustained drives, like I'm saying they will, and you're saying they probably won't, but if they do go on sustained drives, then it's pretty official that this Packers defense is 100% a fraud. Because this Vikings.
Then you don't have to hear about all of the talk about Halfley becoming a head coach somewhere else next year.
Oh no, that was done week 5. That was already over week 5. Like after week 5, I was just like, Halfley is not that guy. He's not that guy, which is so weird, because if you actually remember when we watched the Lions game and the Commanders game, we were blitzing, we were getting home, like they were playing aggressively downhill. And I think they just got found out. And I think he hasn't adjusted, and other teams have adjusted to the way that they play defense. So we'll see what he does this week. But I'm not getting my hopes up that it's going to be a good game. I'm not getting my hopes up that our coaches are going to do well. But I do believe that Toyotathon Jordan Love will win the day. So the Packers are going to win. So, all right, week 12, that's pretty much everything we wanted to cover, Dave. What's the one thing that I missed, or what's the one thing that we didn't talk about that's important this week?
I'd say the one thing that we failed to talk is Josh Allen, how he did against Houston last year. We didn't talk about the game because it's going live right now. Right. Last year, he only got 100 yards against Houston's defense. They're elite. Yep. He went off for 6 touchdowns last week, but Houston's up 20-16, 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Josh Allen's only thrown for 106 yards, 12 of 16, so he's taking a lot of the short ones. They're again without Keon Coleman. It just sounds like he has too many issues. He needs to grow up. Shakir got to go to the blue tent for a little bit just to be checked out. The Bills are this is their year to do it. I don't think Patrick's going to make it, but Bills just aren't looking elite. This is anybody's game this season. This is the funnest season in a long time. There's nobody dominating other than Caleb Williams.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep believing in that. Well, I was going to say Davis Mills has actually done better in this offense than Stroud has done all year. Like in the last couple weeks, like it just goes to show you, don't take quarterbacks out of Ohio State unless you're the Bears. Good night, everybody.
Good night.